Presentation Part 3. Welcome back. Okay, I was talking about Foxapop and Skype. Now there are links here to give technical support about Skype, and here's a link about Foxapop, which is eventually loaded, I hope. And yep, here we go. Foxapop, yeah? So here I have some videos which I've made myself about demonstrating how the technology works. I'll show you a short segment. In this video, I'm going to show you how to join my Foxapop talk group. First of all, I will send you an email. It will be entitled Foxapop Invitations, and it will say Roger Yallop has invited you to the Unit 2 Estonian Towns talk group at foxapop.com. If you don't receive this, it might have gone to your junk box, so check there. If not, then please contact me immediately. Anyway, click here, and you'll get a message which says Roger Yallop has invited you to join the following Foxapop talk group, where you can use your real voice in ongoing topical discussions. This one says Unit 2 Estonian Towns Private Talk Group. By private talk group, they mean that only our group can listen to the messages. Nobody from outside our group can have access. Okay, so you get the idea. There's technical support here where they can watch videos. Anyway, going back. Right, so moving on to the next bit. Right, revision. Here, in my first unit, I improved selective listening skills using video, and the theme was also about Estonia. So here's to remind the students, where is Estonia located? What's the capital of Estonia? What are the main sites in the capital city? And I included the link here so they can go back and see this. Which country do you come from? Which countries does it border? And so on. And there's a quick link back here to Unit 2. So let's move on. In the next task, you've got cities in Estonia. Now the 5 people talker will talk about their hometowns and towns, so the students need some content schemata developed, so they need to know where these towns are in Estonia, like Haapsalu, Kuressaare. And here I'll include a link to an outside map source. And here you see the map of Estonia. You need to make this a bit bigger. And here you can see Tallinn, Tartu, and you can, if you go up, you can see it a bit better. There you go, perfect. Tartu, Haapsalu, Narva, all the towns they need, Tartu, and so on. Okay, so let's move on. Right, so this is a listening task. Now I know I'm improving speaking skills, but I think you need to develop this receptive skills so you've got the skills and confidence to speak later. Passive, receptive, and then productive. So the next pages implement Gagner's latter stages, providing learner guidance, elicit performance, and so on. And of course, as I said, the Foxapop is essential. So here, this is it. For the students, you're going to listen to 5 Estonians introducing themselves on Foxapop. They compare and contrast their hometowns, which is why I've decided that I think some language support on this grammar point, on this language point, is a good idea. The names are Annalie, Marcus, and so on. So first of all, are they men or women? Helpstone. And here you've got an answers. Annalie and Tia are women, the rest are men. Okay, then these 5 people come from the following towns. You can click here. So now they can listen to this. And then they can check their answers. Yes, Annalie comes from Tallinn. So they have all the answers here. So they can elicit their performance. It provides feedback and so on. So let's move on. Okay, here I'm listening for more specific information. Yes, I still know it's speaking skills, but we get that in the second phase. And here, what is the population? So they can listen again. You've got the answers here, which is always useful. You click here to go back. And then you click here to go on. And now we come to the language points, comparing and contrasting. Which people compare and contrast their hometown to other people's? And what language they use to compare and contrast, like Tallinn is larger than Tartu, etc. So I put another layer here where I go into comparisons using an inductive approach. Okay, so why do we say big and bigger, but we say famous and more famous, and so on? You've got lots of examples here. And then, when they thought about this, they can look at the tape script. You'll notice there's lots of comparatives and superlative structures here, surprisingly, and equivalents and so on. So they can look at this, and then there's a grammar explanation on the next page. This is what I mean by traditional exercises and Gagne's instructional design going down the list. You've got grammar explanation, and then there's some practice exercises here where they can elicit performance, provide feedback, assess performance, and here we've got a comparative superlative quiz. For example, Big Egg Hill is the most high? No, the highest. Great. I'm also going to have a grammar book, a grammar reference book, probably Grammar in Use Intermediate by Murphy. I personally like this book a lot, so they can self-study grammar. This is the self-study unit. And that's how, what I'm trying to say here is that I'm using comparing and contrasting language because I think it's a very important language they need when they have to make their own Foxapop discussions. But, I mean, what I'm excited about Foxapop is you can really put any language point you want here. You can direct it your own way. And this time I'm using Foxapop in an acquisition metaphor, as a teacher-led instruction. I mean, when they react themselves, then it'll be social constructivist. But it's quite controlled, this bit. Anyway, to go on, now language support. Now, in this section, I'm moving towards a more student-centered approach where the previous task would be based on Gagne's instruction design, and they provide support for the following task, my phase 2, based on Safry and Duffy's framework. So it's a transition from an acquisition metaphor, teacher-centered, to a participation metaphor and student-centered thing. Just to remind you of Safry and Duffy's framework again. And for the students, well done. The language will be useful for the next stage. Now, in this stage, you're going to introduce yourself, describe your hometown, and say a few things about what you like doing by posting a message on Foxapop. Don't worry, we'll have a small group meeting in Skype to discuss the exact details, as I explained to you in the first Skype meeting. I'm going to give your group a task to solve. Don't worry, you have examples to help you from earlier in the unit. So this is what I'm saying, is that the Gagne's instruction design, where they did the exercises and listened to Foxapop discussion boards, is giving them confidence to do this themselves when we get to a participation metaphor where they do it themselves. So for the meeting, be prepared to do the following. Introduce yourself, describe anything you like doing, and talking about your hometown. Now I've added another layer for the reflective element in the last part of Safry and Duffy's framework. The reflective element like language support and speaking and learner diary and so on.